All right, hello guys. So before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to let you know that this week I'm currently enrolling for my signature program, the Online Summit Program. Now, specifically, I'm looking for hikers who want to get strong and pain-free over the next 12 weeks so they can conquer every adventure. Now, if this sounds like something you might be interested in and you want to find out a little bit more, simply just shoot me an email to rowan@summitstrength.com.au with the words "tell me more." Now, from there, we can have a bit of a chat and really just dive in and see if and how this program may be right for you, your goals, and your situation. So if you want to find out more, don't hesitate, flick me an email, because I'd really love to hear from you. Now, with all that being said, let's get into today's episode. All right, hello guys. So today we are talking about strength training, and specifically we're talking through a few ideas which I typically see in the world of strength training, and the few approaches, I should say, which may be holding back your results. And if you are doing these approaches, there may be some really great potential for change to accelerate your results for your strength development, for your training, and ultimately on the trail. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this today is over the last few weeks, I've had quite a number of conversations with hikers who've had a bit of a general theme in what they've said. And they've sort of come to me and they said, look, Rowan, either I'm preparing for this trip, or I am trying to overcome this ache or pain, or I'm just trying to get strong on the trail, whatever it may be. But they've said a very similar thing. They've said, look, I've tried everything to get stronger, but I don't really feel like I'm going anywhere. And I asked them, have you tried strength training? And they say, yeah, I have. I've tried it. I've been training for a long time, and I feel like I just don't improve. And then I asked them if they tried something else. And yeah, I've tried that, and I've done it for a long time, and I feel like I just don't improve. And multiple of these people have said, I've tried many different approaches to strength training, and it's just never been right for me. I've never noticed a real major difference. But when we explored things a little bit more, and I asked them, you know what, talk to me about this. Tell me a little bit more about this. Get into the specifics of what you were doing. They all came up with these things that kind of said to me, you know what, yes, you have explored strength training a little bit, but there's a few red flags which really from my end is saying, look, you haven't really explored this to the max. And there is so much more potential for this type of training to help you and to get you moving forward, to get on top of an ache or pain, to get ready for a heavy pack, to get ready for the trail. And with just a few tweaks in this approach, you have so much potential to change. And I get excited when I hear this because I'm like, if we can work together, I know I can change your life on the trail because you haven't explored this to its utmost. So today I want to explore these areas and these red flags I mentioned. So if you do sort of realize, hey, you know what, this sounds like me, just know there is so much more potential for your strength and for your hiking. And again, as I often say with these things, if you aren't doing any of these things, it's not to say you're absolutely wasting your time or it's been wasting your effort or whatever it may be. You will probably still get stronger to a point. But what I'm saying is if you are doing these things, there's so much more potential. With a few small changes, you could skyrocket your improvement. So with all that being said, let's talk about it. Now, first red flag in your strength training, which you could be getting so much more if you're not doing this, is if you're doing new workouts every single week. Now, what I mean by that, and I did talk about this on a podcast a little while ago, is the body needs a certain amount of consistency to really get the best development and strength. Now, the reason behind this is it takes a while to not only learn, but master any exercise, no matter how simple it is. And every single time you start a new exercise, there's a dozen things you've got to wrap through your head around. For a squat, you've got to figure out where to put your feet, where to put your weight, how to keep your torso up, how to keep your core engaged, where to hold the weight, and all these different things you've got to think about. And the first time you do it, you spend half your time just thinking about these things. But then the more you practice it, you're more comfortable, the more natural it feels, and then you can begin to sort of start pushing yourself with the weight, with the exercise, and getting a little bit more out of it. And that is where the best strength development comes. However, if you're constantly changing exercises every time you work out, or if you're constantly changing workouts every time you come in, so you don't know what you're actually doing, how are you going to have that consistency to really push yourself? Yes, you can work hard, don't get me wrong. And yes, it will get you strong to a point, but it's going to limit you very, very seriously. What you need if you are looking at a serious, proper strength program is consistency. In all honesty, you should be repeating workouts at least 3 times. You can go all the way up to 6 of the same workout. Exactly the same, no change at all. Just basically improving your form, improving your weights, and just pushing things a bit more. Do it in 6 times in a row and still see some pretty solid improvements. After that, you can still improve. Things will probably begin to slow down a little bit. But in all honesty, you should be repeating workouts a certain number of times. Now, it's not to say you have to do the same thing months and months and months and months in a row, because you do need a certain amount of new stimulus to stimulate progression. You do need a certain amount of new variety to keep you interested in the workouts, because you don't want to be bored out of your mind. But if you're doing new workouts every single week, you're selling yourself short. So that's red flag number 1. You need a certain amount of consistency in your strength training, and doing a new workout, new exercise every single time you train, it's not the best way to go. Number 2, the red flag, which is really, really holding back so many people's strength development, is mixing up your strength and your cardio work into one mishmash of a workout. Now, the reason I say this is you see it all the time in gyms these days, particularly with the popularity of HIIT training, and where you'll sort of end up doing a squat, then a burpee, then a lunge, then some squat jumps or some skipping or whatever it may be. And it's cardio strength, cardio strength, cardio strength. And what that ends up doing, it just turns the whole workout into a cardio workout, which is fine if you're trying to train cardio, but it's going to limit your strength so severely. If you are truly looking to improve your strength, you need rest periods and solid rest periods in between your movements. You don't want to be absolutely huffing and puffing and gasping for air. You don't need to care about burning calories. You don't need to care about your heart rate in strength training. You're there to do one thing: get stronger. You're not there to improve your cardiovascular fitness. You're not there to jack up your heart rate. You're not there to burn calories. You're there to get stronger. And if you can go in that mindset and you can separate the two and do strength with strength and cardio with cardio, that in itself can just explode your results. And yeah, for people who may be short of time, if you want to do it in the same session, that's fine. But do your strength first and then do your cardio at the end. And that simple separation, it goes a long way. And again, it's not to say you can't see improvements in strength if you're mixing them, but you're limiting your results. And there will come a point where it begins to slow down, and will come a point where you're really just not improving. So separate those two and you will go a long way for you. Now, number 3, red flag, is only doing high repetition strength training. And I see this all the time. I see people recommend it online and yada, yada, yada. Yes, high repetition strength training is beneficial for hikers. Yes, it can give you some really good results. And yes, it's something I program into all my training. When you're doing 15 plus repetitions of a certain exercise, gets you a good burn, helps develop muscular endurance and yada, yada, yada. Very, very good. But if that's all you're doing, again, you're selling yourself short. There are so many incredible benefits hikers can get from more challenging, slightly lower repetition, more resistant strength training. So doing things at 8 repetitions, 7, 6, 5, even 4, or whatever it may be. That is so beneficial for hikers. If you can do a little bit of this, you don't have to jump right in the deep end. You don't have to be throwing around heavy barbells or doing seriously heavy squats or deadlifts if you don't like that stuff. But choosing exercises which will challenge you, it goes a long way. And if that's all you're doing, high repetition strength stuff, and you've never slowly worked yourself to that heavier stuff, there's so much room for potential for you. Now, number 4, and kind of touched on a point before, is trying to push your heart rate through the entire session and push it up high. Now, if you track your heart rate, fine. That's absolutely fine in other sessions, but it has no relevance to the quality of a strength session. Absolutely none. And in all honesty, I fully encourage you, if you are doing strength sessions, don't wear your heart rate monitor. Don't look at the heart rate tracker or whatever it may be, because it can get really confusing. What you want to know about improving your strength sessions, if you're having a good strength session, ask yourself the question: are you doing more weight or resistance than last time? Are you doing more reps? Are you feeling more in control? Are you getting more of a burn or whatever it may be? But a heart rate, it's got no relevance to the effectiveness of a strength session. And if all you're thinking about is trying to get that heart rate up, if you're doing an exercise and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm having a rest, but my heart rate's getting a bit low, I better go again, that's just a road not to failure, I don't want to say that, but a road to mediocrity. You're going to be doing so much better, and heart rate is just not interested in strength training. So if your strength training looks like a cardio session where your heart rate's just trying to push it, just know you could be doing much better. Number 5, the next red flag I want to talk about, is only doing fancy, fun workout styles. So what I mean by this is doing things like AMRAPs, like as many rounds as possible, where you get like 4 or 5 exercises and try and do as many rounds as possible of those in a certain amount of time. Or EMOMs, every minute on the minute, where you have to do a certain exercises at the start of top of every minute. Or having a laundry list where you do 50 squats, then 50 lunges, then 50 sit-ups, and that's your workout. You know, these things. Yes, they can be fun. Yes, they can get you to a certain point. Yes, they're fun to do in a group environment. But if you're really looking to develop strength to help you on the trail, this is not the way. They can be used in small doses, but you're going to see much benefits from following a typical structure or a standard structure, not this super fun, exciting stuff. If you are the type of person where you really struggle to train and this stuff gets you engaged, then absolutely, that is all good. Go for it. But if it doesn't really tickle your fancy, or if it's just another way of training, just know there probably is a better way. Number 6, couple more to go, is only doing 1 to 4 exercises and thinking that's strength training. Yes, 1 to 4 exercises is much better than nothing. I'll absolutely say this, but it's not classified as a structured strength program. It's not covering all the bases that you probably want, and you could be doing much better. Now, this typically I'll see when it's coming from, a physio recommendations or another allied health professional where they'll say, okay, these are the ones, I bet you've all done them before. Do some squats, some wall sits, some clams, maybe some glute bridges, or maybe some lunges. See it all the time. If that is what you've done and you said, hey, I've tried to get strong before and this is what I've done, 3 or 4 exercises, repeat, multiple times a day or whatever it may be, that's not strength training. Yes or no, it is strength training, but you could see much better results from following a more comprehensive program. And the final thing that tallies on from that, and this is again, I see it all the time from physios and it drives me mental, is just doing the same exercises every single day, or even worse, telling people to do them 2 or 3 times a day. It's crazy. It's mental. It's not a smart way to go about it because there's so much better ways of going about your strength training than just doing the same thing every single day. So if you've been told to do calf raises every single day, the same calf raises, and you said, hey, I've tried to get stronger and this is what I've done and it hasn't really worked for me, just know there's a better way. So hopefully that gives you some insight into strength training. As you can see, I get a little bit worked up about this. I get a little bit fired up because it does drive me mental seeing this type of stuff. Not mental from the hikers who are telling this to me, but mental about the professionals who's prescribing this stuff. I don't understand it. There's so much better potential to be had from this. So if you are a hiker listening to this and you're like, you know what, I've been trying to improve myself for the trail. I've tried to get strong, but it hasn't so much made a difference for me. If when you've tried to get strong, you've been doing one of these things or multiple of these things, just know there's so much positive potential for change. It's exciting. It's good news if you've done this because there's so much potential to change. I know I've said it like 20 times this episode, but there's no better way to put it. You could be getting so much better results if you take a bit more of a structured approach, if you take a bit more of a specialist approach, a bit more of a specific approach, a bit more of a comprehensive approach. These are red flags. Yes, they will get you to a point, but they are holding you back. If you take another approach, you probably can see some major differences to your strength, to your fitness, to your comfort, your confidence, and ultimately your performance on the trail. Now, if this is you, if you've gone through this, if these are things you've been following and you want to find a different approach, I would absolutely love to hear from you. I'd love to have a chat with you because I really would love to help. If this sounds like you and you want to find out a little bit more how a structured, specialist, and comprehensive program can help develop your strength, your conditioning, your fitness, your capabilities on the trail, I want to hear from you. This week, I am doing a big promotion around my signature program, the Online Summit program. Specifically, I'm looking for hikers who want to get strong and pain-free so they can conquer every adventure. If If this sounds like you want to find out a little bit more and see if and how it may be right for you, what I want you to do is flick me an email to rowan@summitstrength.com.au with the words "tell me more." From there, we can find a time to chat, dive into things, and see if and how this may be right for you, your goals, your situation, and your strength and your hiking. So if you want to find out more, shoot me an email to rowan@summitstrength.com.au. I'll leave that down in the show notes below, and we can take it from there. So thank you so much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you got a little bit out of it, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.